Running a successful business has so many things involved, one of which is customer service. On this episode of Let's Talk, the topic is customer service, a business life wire. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk. My name is Olujo Kemosako, CEO Unicorn HR Services. Mrs. Aderonke Salami is my guest. And before we delve into the discussion proper, I would like you to also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so yet. So, let's continue and enjoy the ride with me. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
Oh, exactly. It's actually nice having you here again after many years, right?
Right.
Okay, so what is customer service?
Customer service is basically the middleman between the company and the clients. Customer service is I like to call it like, the topic we have, like a life wire for every business, in the sense that without the customers, the company cannot exist. And without the company, the customers cannot get the services that they want. So basically, customer service just helps us to bridge that gap between a business and its clients.
Mm. So someone says good service is good business. How true?
It is very true, actually. And to be honest, I think that a lot of businesses lack this, meaning that they're so focused on the fact that they have a product to sell or a service to offer, that they leave behind the fact that they have to carry every stakeholder along. And when I say stakeholders, I mean, you're carrying your employees along, you're carrying your clients along, you're carrying your products, your services, and your business along. So good service, yes, is very important for every business.
Okay, now, like we said, it is a life wire of every business. I would like to quickly ask this. How important is providing the right service to customers? You are an HR person, and basically you help companies recruit staff. So in this light, how would you explain this?
For me, right, good services, is very, very important. And like we said before, without, service, you don't have clients. Now, coming from the angle of, providing services or, selling products, if you don't have a good service, there's the very high probability that you will not get a repeat customers. A repeat customer, excuse me, please. Being that, imagine this: you walk into a company or you walk into an organization, and the first person that you see is rude to you, doesn't tell you the necessary information that you need for your business or for the service that you want, and that person leaves. There's every probability that that person is going to tell 2-3 people about the service that they receive from your company, and that translates to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and that trail is where the customers are, and you're missing that because you have a bad service. Right now, there's always the impression that customer service is basically for the customer, for the role of the customer service person. And that is, I feel like that is something that should be debunked. Why? Like I just gave an example. If you come into an organization, the first person you most likely will see is, the security personnel at the gate. Now, imagine being treated rudely or treated badly from the gates. Take, for instance, you decide that, okay, let me give this company, the benefit of doubt and move forward. The next person you're probably going to see is the front desk executive or, the receptionist. and that person also gives you a bad attitude. Now, it might mean that, the owner of the company, or, someone in the hierarchy actually, would get the job done. But from the security personnel to the front desk executive, you already have, a bad trail. Can we now see that, when we're talking about customer service, it's not just for the customer service representative alone. It means that every single person in your organization needs to be, let me use the word, service oriented. And that helps your business grow.
Yes, to do such a thing. When you are employing people, what are the things that you look out for? And how would you advise companies to actually help their staff to be up and doing as regards customer service, like that?
Yes, like you said, I do a lot of recruitment, and aside from recruitment, I also do a lot of performance evaluation, audit and training. And one of the things I would say is this: there's a high probability and a high need for businesses to focus on customer service for their staff. So it's not just for, like I said, the impression that everybody has is that, the role of customer service is just for the customer service representative. But it goes beyond that. Like I said, each person in your organization needs to be service oriented. Now, if I were to be recruiting for a role, right, and I need to know, depending on, the brief I have gotten from the company and what they actually need. One of the things that I would always want to know about, a potential candidate is this. First, about integrity. That's one. Second, about giving value. How are you able to give value to, to yourself, to the company, and even to the customers or to the clients that you're going to be meeting? If those two things are not there, there's every probability I might not be picking you for the next round of interviews, or, you might just be missing that opportunity that, you've applied for, right? And so it is very important that as, a job seeker or anyone who's looking for a job, to have those in mind. You always have to come from the angle of value. What are you bringing to the table? Are you just there just so that you can get salary at the end of the month? Or are you there that you're going to be able to help the business that you are about to join grow, especially in their ROIs? And the idea of ROIs is not that, it's just, the profit at the end of the day. It's also about the brand of the company. It's also about how the company's image outside of its environment, if you get what I mean. Aside from that, for businesses, I feel like one of the things that they should focus on is training their staff. Now, I understand that a lot of businesses might have a high turnover of staff, but I don't think that should deter you. That at the end of the day, it makes you a company that is easy to work with, because everyone who people will hear, stories will be told about the kind of culture you have in your organization, and you need to be able to create a culture where people learn about how to behave properly. I'm currently a faculty member of Service Culture Academy, where we teach people to be service-oriented professionals. And one of the things I have been teaching the participants is two things: the accountability attitude and the can-do attitude. Now, they have employees that will not necessarily, do much for themselves in terms of growing, with the company, growing in their profession. But as a business, if you can, maybe twice a year, maybe once a quarter, maybe even once a year, try to bring in, an expert in your field, or in the area you're specializing on, and come speak to your staff on a regular basis. It promotes what we call service orientation. People will no longer, or your staff will no longer actually look at you based on, okay, my company is just there for the company's sake. I'm just going to receive my salary at the end of the, the month. But it goes beyond that. You want to be able to create a culture where people, even when they leave, you are able to, or your organization is able to still stand and still come from the angle of, okay, when it comes to our business, our employees are important, as well as our customers are important too.
That's really a very deep one. Let's quickly go on this break, and when we come back, we continue from there. So please stay with us. The program is Let's Talk on DNTWOK, and have been discussing with the one and only CEO of Unicorn HR Services, Mrs. Aderonke Salami, and the topic has been customer service, a business life wire. Thank you so much, Ronke, for standing by.
Thank you.
Okay, implications of bad customer service. Could you please reel that out?
Bad customer service is just like killing your business. Basically, that's how I actually see it, in the sense that, like I said before, right? If you have good customer service, it translates to bringing more people in. Now, if you have bad customer service, you are definitely killing your business. First of all, the impression online, offline is something that, cannot easily be removed, right? And that's what we call brand reputation. If you want to go in that line, your brand's reputation is as important as the money that comes into your brand. Now, if your brand reputation, like we're talking about the implication of bad customer service. Imagine if your company receives a bad review. There's every probability that people will not use your service. And once one person decides to talk bad about your service, it continues to trickle down and trickle down and trickle down till, especially if you don't deal with it, it becomes so much that there's a high probability that your business will go down. Now, if we look at it in this light, I know this is a global audience, but I'm sure if you're following the dealings that are happening in Nigeria recently, where there was this issue of a child who died, in the school.
Sure.
And one of the problems that they had was communication. Now, communicating of which, to be honest, when we look at it, it's, when an issue like that happens, you don't just, immediately respond. But at the end of the day, how you manage and handle those kinds of things, will determine how your business continues to stay. So, like I said before, one of the implications of bad customer service is that your return, your profits begins to dwindle. Secondly, your staff turnover will be very high, because at the end of the day, you're looking at how typically it will be assumed that somebody has to be responsible for a bad customer service, and that means that part where you have to make someone escape goods, which means that you have to fire somebody for, and so that's a high turnover of get. Also, bad reputation. Once that is out, if you're not quick to handle that, it taints the image of your business, and how human beings are. Once they have a perception of your business, whether or not your business does well, it would always affect you. I remember, I think it was a few years ago or so, and this happened to a school as well, where I can't remember the exact story, but it was almost like, they had an issue in school. Yes, I remember now. So apparently a teacher had, allegedly raped a student, and it was being covered up as well, and things like that. So I remember that someone had reached out to me that they were looking for a school, and I happened to know the name of the school. Actually, it was part of the list that I had wanted to give the person, and I was just for confirmation's sake, I decided to go online to see each of the schools, criterias, school fees and things like that. And I got to this school, and the first thing I saw on Google was that it has been associated with the teacher that raped students. And that for me alone was a no-no. So that school had been crossed off the list for me. And so you can imagine how many other people would have that impression as well. That the first thing that we're seeing is a bad review. It's not good at all. This same applies with when we use our mobile phones, where we go on Google, on Google Play or on iStore, and you get reviews of customer, or of clients. By the time, the first thing you're looking at and the first thing you're thinking of when you see a product that you want to use or a service that you want to use is, okay, what are the reviews saying? I wouldn't initially want to go and look at the good reviews first. It will most likely be the bad reviews. So I just want to say, okay, what are these guys doing? Are they doing well or they're not doing well? And so that totally messes up, a brand's reputation. So whether you are good, whether your service is great or not, if your customer service is not good, it will definitely impact negatively to your organization.
What do you say about reviews that are paid for, and knowing that what goes on in the organization or the business is actually opposite?
Now, I can actually agree with you that some people pay for reviews, whether good or bad, right? The idea is so that people kind of understand, okay, what kind of business, and what the clients are saying. Now, we can't totally erase whether or not these are these reviews are paid for. But the thing about it is this: you have a customer service team. It is very, very important for you to have a customer service team that would actually help with your business's brand reputation. Now, when you have things like that, it is important to be on top of your game. Now, when I say on top of your game, you're seeing a review, you're responding immediately. You're seeing it. So don't allow for backlog. It is important that a business goes straight to the point. If possible, try to reach out. Let me give you an example. Good. I just remember this example. So a lot of people will know Gary Vee. Gary Vee is an entrepreneur. He's a social media person. He's basically an entrepreneur. When he talks, he likes to use curse words. So that's the person I'm trying to explain. So he wrote a book about social media and creating content online. And somebody on Twitter just sent a message and said, how would you write such a book, a terrible book, that imagine paying for something like this, and I'm getting exactly what you've already talked about. I was expecting that you go in depth. The person listed out exactly what he wanted from the service that he bought from, or from the products rather, that he bought from Gary Vee. And there was a backlash, right, on the guy, not even on Gary Vee, because you would have expected that if somebody said something like that, it would mean that, why are you selling such a book? Now, what had happened is this: even though there was a backlash on the guy, I can tell you that Gary Vee's response was just 100%. Now, he reached out to the guy and told him, I understand your plight. I understand that you've been upset about the product that you received. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to give you back your the money you paid for the book. I'm also going to go further and have a session with you where we'll actually talk one-on-one and see what your issues are and things like that. May I add that while the guy was speaking to Gary Vee, he was so rude about it. He was nasty about it. His response to Gary Vee's book was really, really bad. That if you on a typical day just checks it out, you're definitely not going to buy that book. Now, his response did something wonderful. He went further to tell the guy that, okay, you know what? I can see that you are, I think the guy is a creator or something like that. I think he draws or something like that. He said, I am actually going to buy a painting from you and tell the world about your painting. Now, what I did for that guy was that he got a lot of customers. He also got positive reviews about his work. This guy had to come back and actually publicly apologize for what he had done. Like, his entire family apologized for what this particular guy has done. Now, what that tells me is that Gary Vee has actually put his customers way ahead of his product. And that is what every single business should be about. Your product is good, yes. But is everybody going to actually accept your product as it should? No. How then do you manage the expectations that people have about your business? That is in between customer service. What kind of strategies do you have for your customers? How do you communicate with them? How do you create a friendly atmosphere with them? How do you make sure that what they are paying for, they are receiving it, and much more, so that by the time they are even going to speak to others about your business or about your brand, it's something positive. And this takes me to even personal brands like ours, where we get reviews based on the services that we offer. And that's what propels other people to actually use our services. So if we don't have good customer service, or we don't have good product lines that would help customers, then what are we doing?
Thank you so much. This is actually mind-blowing. Do you have any final word before we round it up?
Yes. What I would say is this: for businesses, please, it is important. It's not because I'm a HR person, right? But this is because of the atmosphere that you have to create, or the culture that you want to develop in your organization. It does not come out of the blues. It is something that you have to groom and grow. It is very important that your employees have that service-oriented mindset. Now, when I say the service-oriented mindset, from the gate man to the CEO, everybody is responsible for every kobo that comes into that organization. And the only way for people to understand that, the only way for your employees to understand that, is if you give them a good service orientation that would help them to understand that, yes, this is an organization that I came to work with, but when I'm leaving, I know that tomorrow I'm coming back with the mindset that I want to make, XYZ company a better place.
Thank you so much for that. And to you out there, please ensure that you make use of all that has been reeled out to you. If you're just starting a business, you know that your customer service is something you should actually pay attention to. And until next time, I remain Olujoke Mosako. Bye for now.